Hi everyone, Steve here again. Welcome to this issue of Monday Morning Musings. We are talking about the wonders and some nuggets of gold that we're finding in John's Gospel. John's intro, in the prologue to John, it talks about the Word becoming flesh and dwelling among us. I'd just like to talk to you a little bit about that word among us and what it means. It literally means, very literally means, that the Word that existed with God in eternity pitched a tent. It's the exact same word for pitching a tent. Where in the scriptures have we heard about a tent before? Right. In the Jewish mind, the tent in the wilderness, the tabernacle or the tent of Moses. I have no doubt that the author of that passage had that in mind. And it says this, that Jesus literally pitched a tent among us. And that doesn't mean like just as one of a member of a crowd, but it actually means this, and it's really hard to get across in English. He pitched a tent in humanity, or in and with humanity. He identified with humanity. And just like in the Old Testament, the tabernacle and the Holy of Holies was understood to be the localized presence of God in the earth. What the author of John is saying in the prologue is that Jesus has become the localized presence of God in the earth. It's not a building, it's not a sanctuary, it's not this place, it's not Jerusalem. He has become the abode or the abiding place of the presence of God in time and space. And it gets better because the Hebrew word for Shekinah, which some understand means the glory of God, has the same root, because it was associated with the tent of glory. Sometimes they even call the tabernacle the tent of glory. And then later on in John's opener, it talks about, we have seen his glory. So there's all these tying together with the connection to the tabernacle of God in the wilderness. It's where the Shekinah appeared, the manifest presence of God in the earth. And that is why, for those that have come from my background, my Pentecostal charismatic background of going on close to 50 years now, all that anxiety about shouting the glory down or singing it down, or the glory of God and experiencing his glory and experiencing this, and oh, I was overwhelmed by the glory. Listen, Jesus is the glory of God. He is the localized presence of God in the earth. When we are in union with him, and when we have been brought to the same place that he is in the bosom of the Father, that is the glory of God. Whether my emotions are touched by these things or not touched by these things, or I have an experience or I don't have an experience, doesn't change the reality of the matter. The whole point of the author of the letter, the Gospel of John, putting this at the beginning is to signal that there's been a change. There's a new tent, and Jesus is that tent. And that tent is one of us. Maybe you remember, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't know, there was this real popular song, What If God Was One of Us? Welcome to the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the whole point. The glory of God. It pleased God to dwell. And in Jesus Christ, there is his glory. So when the scripture says, he dwelt among us, well, that's not inaccurate grammatically, but it's sure not as rich as understanding that forever Jesus is the new tabernacle of all there is of the glory of God. And that's what he said, and I'll see you next time.